Hello, my name is Dr. David Francis. I am the evaluation manager on the Unlocking Our Sound Heritage project at the British Library, and I am very excited that you're going to be joining us for our virtual World Cafe talking about sound on Monday, a virtual World Cafe about the uses of sound heritage in the pandemic. We have done several of these as part of the Unlocking Our Sound Heritage project to the British Library, and what we found out is that it's always good to prepare participants with what to expect before they take part so that you can get the most out of your World Cafe. We've offered a couple of drop-in sessions on Friday and Monday to familiarise yourself with the digital communications platform we're using for the World Cafe, which are Wonder and a Miro whiteboard. If you'd still like to practice, both will be open over the weekend, and I'll be there on Monday morning from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. to demonstrate how it works. If you can't make it, then hopefully this video will help. So first of all, what is a World Cafe? A World Cafe is a dialogic format that tries to escape from the tyranny of the one-way presenter audience format, commonly held at conferences, to instead encourage conversation and the sharing of ideas in order to harness the collective intelligence of a room. Now, in a face-to-face, in-person format, a World Cafe would take place in a room with several tables, each of which has a host. Participants move between the tables, have discussions about the table themes, which are then facilitated by the table hosts. Usually there's a paper tablecloth that participants can write their thoughts and discussions down on. After 20 minutes, the host draws the discussions to a close and the participants move to another table to begin a new discussion, perhaps reacting to some of the comments and thoughts that are written on that tablecloth. Doing this in a digital format requires some adjustments. Firstly, we'll begin the workshop in the familiar environs of Zoom to bring everyone together, explain the rules of the World Cafe, and then we'll move to the unfamiliar territory of wonder. We'll use the virtual platform Wonder to give you the freedom to move between tables rather than assigning you to breakout rooms a la Zoom. The idea behind this is to give participants the choice of where to go and what discussions to take part in. You'll see in Wonder 4 squares or tables, each corresponding to one of our World Cafe themes. These are well-being in the pandemic, learning in lockdown, creatively transforming sound, and decolonising the digital archive. Simply move to the square with the theme you want to begin your discussions in. Get close to a group of people and a circle will form around you. You can then start talking and sharing experiences about the theme. The host will facilitate this discussion, encouraging dialogue between the group members. A few tips about using Wonder. Firstly, it works best on Google Chrome as a browser. Secondly, you'll be able to move around much easier with a mouse than a trackpad, and the roller on the mouse enables you to zoom in and out, making it easier to move around the screen. You can also use the speech bubble on Wonder to share any links with members of your group that you wish them to see. Finally, when someone else is speaking, mute yourself so you don't get audio feedback, an important consideration when we're talking about sound heritage. After 20 minutes, the host will bring the discussion to a close and then you'll move on to the next table. Over the course of the hour, you'll be able to visit 3 of the 4 tables. We'll then reconvene in Zoom where the table hosts will summarise their discussions with a view to what we want to take forward into the future when working with sound heritage faced with the challenges brought about by the pandemic. Now, let us turn to the Miro whiteboard. The function of the Miro board is to replicate the white tablecloths in a physical World Cafe and capture the discussions that are taking place at the tables. The table host will write down the notes from the discussions to act as a record in Miro, but we're also keen to technologically empower you to speak with your own voice and write your own notes. In the Miro whiteboard, you'll find 4 squares that correspond to the themes in Wonder. Just like Wonder, the Miro board works best on Google Chrome, and also a mouse with a roller allows you to move around the screen and zoom in and out. The key skill you're going to require is how to create a sticky note, which you can do via pressing N for Norman, which will make a sticky note appear. You can then type into the sticky note to add comments. If you're feeling adventurous or artistic, you can also copy and paste images into Miro or draw on the space as well. I've mainly focused on the digital platforms in this video to ensure you'll feel comfortable when taking part in the World Cafe. I'd now like to talk about the purpose and the 4 themes of the workshop. Firstly, this workshop has grown out of the Unlocking Our Sound Heritage project, a collaboration between the British Library and 10 partner hubs across the UK. And our aim is to bring the hubs and the British Library and the project as a whole into dialogue with other heritage professionals and researchers working with sound to share experience and exchange knowledge about the 4 themes. Through this dialogue, we seek to understand how individual practitioners and institutions use sound to meet the challenges brought about by the global pandemic, of engaging their audiences, and decide on what elements we wish to retain for the future. Now, the 4 themes for discussion are well-being in the pandemic, and the types of questions you might ask or discuss in this group are: how has existing well-being practices using sound been transformed by having to deliver them online? How has working digitally changed collaboration with third sector health organisations? How has sound heritage been used to meet the well-being needs of isolation, confinement and anxiety brought about by the pandemic? Learning in lockdown is our second theme. And questions we might want to ask in here are: how have individuals and institutions used innovative ways to reach school groups during lockdown? What have pupils and teachers reported works well in using sound online, and what doesn't? Creatively transforming sound. What innovative methods have been used to transform sounds from the archive into something else? And what role has collaborations with artists and creative played in the creative process? Finally, the 4th theme is decolonising the digital archive. So how have you worked with the archive to give voice to sound heritage from BAME and other underrepresented community groups? What role has working with community groups or artistic collaborations played in this process? And how have movements like Black Lives Matter, Palestinian Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate and others played in working with sound heritage during the pandemic? Finally, my message to you is that the World Cafes, including digital ones, are meant to be fun and creative experiences, and we hope that out of this process you'll be led to gain new ideas and generate new connections with like-minded fellow sound heritage practitioners, which will potentially lead to new collaborations in the future. I look forward to seeing you all on Monday. And again, if you'd like to practice in either of the formats, I'll be in Wonder from 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. before our session begins at 11:30. And you can find the links for Wonder and the Miro board in the caption below.